What's going on, everybody? Gentleman94 here. Welcome back to Ben Builds. Thank you so much for joining us. We're here with the Albatros. This is episode 16. And today, guys, we're going to focus on decals and weathering. Now, the decals themselves shouldn't be much of a hassle. We have our future on. We have the decals ready to go. You just got to cut them out and then put them on. The problem we're going to most likely run into is during the weathering process, because I really don't know how to weather a World War I aircraft. I mean, heck, I can barely weather normal aircraft. I mean, it's a struggle. I don't know really how to do it. I try different things. So we're just going to stick with that, and we're going to try some new things. So I've been watching some YouTube videos. I've been reading some articles online. So we're going to try some pastels. We're going to try some weathering powders, some oil washes, and we're just going to have fun with it. Maybe a little dry brushing here and there just to see what we can do, and hopefully this turns out decently. Now for the decals, we're going to use our standard procedure for that. We've got our decals, we've got our setting solutions, both microsol and microset. We have our pin vise, we have our tweezers, water, Q-tips, and some toothpicks. So let's go ahead and dive on in, get these things cut out, and get these applied. All right, guys, we are done with the decals. Everything is on, and we're going to let this cure for a little while. Then we'll come back, we'll overcoat it with future. That should seal them in so I don't damage them when I try to weather. Now, we had some issues here with the bottom wing crosses. They didn't want to conform to that access panel. A couple of applications of microsol straightened it right out. On the side of the fuselage, we tried to position everything as our references show, with a little bit of overlap with the oak leaves onto that iron cross. The tail also gave me a little bit of trouble. I had to muscle that in, but everything is placed. On the other side, however, we did have a bit more overlap on the iron cross and the oak leaves than we wanted. I actually wanted to space that out just a little bit more, but by the time I put those decals down, they had locked in, and I wasn't able to move anything. But you know what? It's fine. It looks great. I'm not too worried about it. The heart on top of the fuselage also positioned nicely right there in the middle. We have our iron crosses on the wings. those actually did not give me any trouble. They went on beautifully, so I'm happy with that. Now, overall though, we do have to cover this with some future. So I'm going to do that. We'll come on back after that's dry, when we'll continue the episode with weathering. All right, guys, it has been about 72 hours. Everything is dry. The future is beautiful. We have some oil work to do now for our weathering. So I've got some deep yellow. I've got some raw umber. I've got some burnt sienna. I've got some ivory black, some titanium white. And we're just going to apply different colors here and there, and we're going to see what we can come up with. I really want to try to do a little bit more oil work on this one and try to give it even more of the wood grain effect and just really kind of play with the weathering. And we're just going to see how it turns out, you know? This is my first World War I aircraft, so I'm bound to make a few errors here and there, but you know what? It's a learning process. Let's go ahead. We've got our oils out. Let's get some powders out, do some oil washes here on the bottom, try to get some of these panels a little different color, try to get some nice contrast, and fingers crossed, we get this all looking the way I want. But we just got to dive on in and see what we can do. All right, not too bad. We have our preliminary weathering kind of down, ready to go. We did our oils, we did our weathering powders. I want to come back in and I want to go ahead and use a little bit of my earth and tone pastels and add a little bit of dust, a little bit of dirt, see what we can do. Now, I actually like just taking my hobby knife and scraping off a little bit of each of these pastels, more of the earth tones, kind of mix them together, and I'm just going to brush them on. I'm going to pick places here and there that I think will look good and just kind of drag it along some of the areas. A little bit on the wing, a little bit on the undercarriage, definitely on the wheels, and just to kind of tint it just a little bit. bottom side of the wing as well. I want to give it just a little bit of contrast. Again, it's real subtle. It's really, really subtle work, but it looks really cool. A little bit on the tail as well. I don't really know how to weather white, but I'm thinking just a little bit of this darker pastels here and there as if maybe dust is blown back over that surface. I think it'll work well. And we are done with the weathering process. Is it perfect? No. Is it accurate? I don't know. But to be honest, I like it. I like the subtle changes here and there. And I think with the combination of weathering pastels and weathering powders, everything more or less looks good. I'm happy with it. A little bit of dirt here, a little bit of dirt there. I probably could have gone even more so, but I'm happy with this. Don't want to push my luck. So we're going to go ahead and call it quits for today, guys. I'm going to let this cure, let this set off camera. Next episode, we're going to come back. We're going to hit that rigging, and we're going to go ahead and give you a final look at how the Albatros turned out. But thank you so much for watching today. Tune in next week for the final episode of the 1/48 scale Albatros D.III. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next week.